sun comes up on a weary man, living with a shovel in his hand. Seems the work will never stop, watering a thirsty crop. Daddy was a farmer, he lived his life on the Colorado land. Raised 5 kids with a loving wife, Daddy was a family man. He had sandy hair and a ready smile, twinkling eyes of blue. He was known as a man who would do what's right by everyone he knew. And the sun comes up on a weary man, living with a shovel in his hand. Seems the work will never stop, watering a thirsty crop. He tried to raise his family right, tried to show the way, to do some work and to have some fun in every passing day. Through all those happy childhood years, life just rolled along. But time goes by, now I'm a dad, and my old daddy's gone. And the sun's gone down on the weary man, but now he's living in a better land. The work's all done, the crop's all in, the water up there's for fishing in. It makes me happy now when I think he's resting in that land. Maybe there's a fiddle has replaced that old shovel in my daddy's hand, and he's got some time for fiddling now. And when he plays that thing, bet the kids in heaven just laugh and dance, and all the angels sing. And by some means that I don't know, his song comes down into my soul, and it tells me that the day will be, we'll meet again, my dad and me. And the sun comes up on a weary man, living with a shovel in his hand. Seems the work will never stop, watering a thirsty crop.
Lots of people know that. So sing along with us if you'd like. Got a D harp in there?
Yes, I
do. We bought little rains, well winds where, all along the Colorado Trail. Morning star, cheeks like a rose. Jenny was a pretty gal, everybody knows. We bore ye little rains, well winds well, all along the Colorado Trail.
As I was out walking one morning for pleasure, I spied a cowpuncher riding along. His hat was throwed back and his spurs was a-jingling, and as he approached he was singing this song. Whoopie-tie-I-oh, get along, you little doggy, it's your misfortune and none of my own. Whoopie-tie-I-oh, get along, you little doggies. You know that Wyoming will be your new home. It's early in the spring when we round up the dogies, mark 'em and brand 'em.
And look what was looking soft.
coming up. Oh, boy. Well, we got Jack Vetter here. I'll just let you tell him about this, Jack.
It's a good story.
Well, it says it's a 1906 Vetter Model V quarter-scale Ford truck. Did you build this, Jack?
Yes, I did. I made it kind of honor of my dad's 80th birthday, and we put it in the 4th of July parade that year, and we did something special for him.
Well, that's nice. That means a lot to Jack and the family and all us here to have that history behind that little model. And Jack comes up from the Denver area. And who do we have driving the tractor today? Can you tell him your name?
Shauna Terra.
Shauna Terra. Are you a Vetter also, Shauna?
No, I'm a Terra.
You're a Terra, okay. You're his granddaughter. Okay, we got that cleared up. Well, it looks like you're doing a good job of driving that, and we appreciate your driving it through here on their parade. What do you use this truck for? Hauling the pigs to the market, or?
Probably not.
You gonna haul your hogs to the market on it? She wants to go to the Dairy Queen in it. All right. Well, thanks, Shauna. Appreciate you driving that by. And Jack, we appreciate your bringing that up. Jack comes by frequently here at the Yesteryear Farm Show to bring his equipment. So Jack's a great contributor here to our show. What in the world do we have here? A big old John Deere by Steve Montgomery? My gosh. Who is your dad? What's your dad's name? What's your name?
My daddy.
Your daddy. All right. Well, his dad and Debbie helped, as I mentioned before, back here on the steam engine with the Stuart Anderson and the DeBakers, and they're bringing those kids up right. Boy, he's starting on that green John Deere tractor. And Steve, we sure appreciate your bringing that in. And he's also the grandson of John Slepika. So you want to drive on through the parade now for us? Steve Jr. Thank you, Steve. Wave bye to all the folks. They sure appreciate your driving that tractor too. Okay, we've got all kind of very, very interesting tractors lining up back there. So this is going to be real nice. Oh my gosh, look what Chuck is bringing in here. Look at that Model A Ford. He's hauling a hog to market too. See it back there in the back in the bed? Oh, I see. He just likes parades. All right. A parade hog. Yeah, there are a few of those around. And Chuck, can you tell us about this machine and when you got it and what you did to it?
I've had it for about 5 years now.
Yeah.
Didn't do too much on the restoration work. I helped my father-in-law restore it, and we picked it up out in Kansas. A lot of good things come out of Kansas, and it's just a lot of fun. Wife and I just love to go in the parades, along with Arnold, the hog back here. He's a real stickler for parades.
There you back there. That's a pretty car. Pretty microphone up here. This takes two people to run this big old Waterloo boy tractor. This is Harvey's tractor. His daughter Valerie up there making sure he does it right tonight. And Harvey keeps this tractor right over here in Hygiene. And this tractor has spent its entire life just west of here out in near Hygiene, Colorado. And Harvey's taken care of it for the last few years. And it's always, we feel, one of the most special tools made. So that really is an ancient machine. Now we got one of the very, very special tractors coming up now, owned by Stuart Anderson, and he's aided by all his friends. And I'll give the mic to Stuart here, and he can tell you all about this engine.
Well, thanks. Here comes another 1917 production. I guess they were building tractors thinking that the old steams were probably on their way out. And I guess history proved that they were right. But a lot of people have been able to hold some and restore them and show them, and we're glad to do that with our engine. It is a 1917 40 horsepower case, spent most of its time in Iowa. I bought it from Dale Boyd of Creston, Iowa in 1990. Dale was here to visit this morning. I don't know whether he's in the crowd or not tonight, but if he is, certainly would like him to make himself known, and we're real glad to see him. The Case 40 was one of their medium engines, and Case built more steam tractors than any other company. So we're glad we restored it from 3 years after we got it in 1990, and we've been able to come over here for about 3 years now. So we're glad to show it to you. It runs on about 120 pounds of steam. We burn coal and or wood, whatever we can get our hands on, even straw hats and paper at times. So in addition this year to our exhibit, we have a little water wagon that was similar to what they used in the days of threshing, when they give the whistle signal while the water was hauled from the creeks or wherever and then delivered to the machine where the threshing was being done. We're real indebted to Greg Brandt, who has a heavy hauling contract from Loveland. He's hauled it every time for us, and we really do appreciate it. And we're real indebted to our friends and everyone who encourages us and helps us put on this exhibit. So thank you very much, and hopefully we can come back again next year and be able to exhibit it again. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Stuart. It's a great contribution each year to our show, and they also have a big old Avery steam engine that normally is here each year. Hopefully that'll be in operating order next year. So it is really a privilege and a treat just to get to see these steam engines operate. You just watch all the mechanism up there. This is a little bit hard to operate, so it takes a couple guys up there on the levers, somebody to steer it usually. Who's steering the tractor today? Daughter Linda. All right, daughter Linda. Looks like she's right at home there on that Case steam engine. That is just such a privilege to see that thing run, and it's a great contribution to our show every year. 29. It's a Rumley oil pull tractor made in LaPorte, Indiana. It was used around Norton, Kansas. He bought it in 1989. And the Rumley Company was brought out by Alice Chalmers back in 1930. So Norm has been bringing some real interesting tractors each year to our show, and you've got a show coming up next week. Okay, here's another Slepica family tractor, and they've got an F20 1936 Farmall. And by gosh, it looks like it's just about 60 years old this year. Is that right, Jerry?
Just right now.
Yeah, just about 60 years ago, and I think Jerry knows a little history on this tractor. Maybe you can just tell him about the history on the tractor, Jerry.
Well, I was always told that Grandpa originally traded traded 2 teams of horses and $100 cash for this tractor, and he cussed it ever since.
That's the one I found.
Well, by gosh, some of you might not have ever seen one of these G model Alice Chalmers. If you got some cultivating to do, I think this would be just the right tractor to do it with. John's been bringing it over about every year, along with some other equipment. And who do we have driving the tractor tonight?
Marcy. Marcy.
Marcy Ellis?
Davis.
Marcy Davis. So you looks like you're doing a good job, Marcy. Do you get a practice on this now and then?
He actually runs a little one.
Okay, she did it last year, and she runs the other one quite a bit, mowing the yard, I guess. Well, John, you bring in a lot of nice equipment over each year and make a good contribution to our show. So, what year is this? A 1950. And it's always an interesting tractor. A lot of people love to look at it. Thanks, John, for bringing it by. Now, I'll tell you, this is not a strange tractor. This is really a grand creation here. Does this look familiar to you? Remember when Harvey and his daughters drove through on their big old water boy just a while ago? We got a young man here that just created and built this all by himself. So tell us your name and where you're from.
Bob Jones, Cheyenne, Wyoming. Had to bring us down to see its daddy.
Yeah, Brad, see its daddy. And we kept it a secret from Harvey. He didn't know he was bringing this Waterloo boy down. So today he drove this up in front of Harvey, and Harvey looked around and saw it, and I thought his teeth was going to fall out there. He couldn't believe what he was looking at. John, you've done a beautiful job. Can you tell us a little bit about building it and what you used to build it?
The engine's out of a John Deere baler, strictly an LA John Deere engine.
The rear wheels are ground drive grain binder wheels back in the teens. It's got a little bit of everything. It's got a Toro ground fastener radiator. And I hate to tell you what the rear end transmission is, but it's the same as the one following us right here. It's what it's out of. And there's rototiller parts, and that flywheel there is actually about a 1905 Whippet brake drum. So got a little bit of everything. Well, I believe so. Some people call those kind of tractors Johnny Cash tractors. Piece from everything, every year. A lot of this represents Martin Salvage Yard up here. Oh, we all know where that is. We know a fellow one time that built a fine tractor like this was telling me, he said, all the parts are out there in that junkyard. You just got to learn, got to see them out there. That's tough to do. It's easier to build one the size of Harvey's than a half scale. Their parts are easier to find. Well, John, you have done an outstanding job on this, and we got to see this up in Wyoming at Medicine Bow last month, and we were just so pleased to get to see this tractor. And John, you made a great contribution to our show this year.
Queen of the 1996 Boulder County Fair Parade. Ed Speed from Illinois owns the tractor.
Now, this is a different colored horse. How many tractors have you driven?
Just one in this last year's parade.
Right, yeah, she's a familiar sight around here. Sure, always an honor to have the Fair Queen and the royalty driver tractors and kick off our fair parade. So I guess the parade's about to wind down today, isn't it, Kim?
Sure is.
Good time?
It's been fun.
It's fun for all of us, and we sure enjoy it. And one of the things that's made it very, very special this year of all these Gibson owners to bring in the Gibson tractors that were built here in Longmont starting 50 years ago. And this is our 50th year celebration of the Gibson Tractor Company from right here in Longmont. This tractor is belonged by Ed Spees, and Ed standing right back here. Ed, come on up and tell them a little bit about where you're from and about your tractor, if you will.
Thank you. This tractor is what I bought at an auction at Pueblo, Colorado, found by Wes Stratman last year. And we found a photograph from the employees of the company this year that verified it is a one-of-a-kind experimental tractor or prototype. It has several features that are different than the I model or the H model, which are the larger tractors Gibson built. One of which is the hood that lifts up so you have access to the fuel tank. We found that he has moved the dash forward 3 inches so he had more foot room. Several other smaller features that enhance the operator comfort. And this tractor we found from the photograph is missing a couple of pieces. In the front under the super, there's 2 sheet metal fan shrouds that are missing that I'll try and replace now. And we were also able to find that the throttle linkage is totally different from what's on there. So the photograph was worth a very, very, very important information to us. And it also happened to be the only photograph they had of Mr. Gibson himself. So it was a precious photograph to show up at this time. And of course it made all of the Gibson people feel good to see that we have collected their tractors. And all the Gibson tractor people are very happy that the employees came and told us about what happened when they built their tractors and some of the stories and where they were shipped to. So it's been a great weekend for all of us. And the people that put on this show are should be very well commended for their efforts. It's a lot of work, and it's turned out to be a beautiful weekend. And we certainly thank you for being here.
Thank you, Ed. It's been a pleasure having you here, and it's just been a real honor for us to welcome these people from all over the United States, bringing these beautiful big Gibson tractors back home. To Jim Stengel, and it looks like we have a Queen's attendant. What's your name?
Amy Skaruba.
Amy. Okay, well, Amy, it's nice of you to drive a tractor and start our parade. This is the first year you've driven here in the tractor parade, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been, yeah.
Used to riding the horses?
Yeah.
More at home on a horse, I expect, aren't you? The oat-eating type. Yeah. Well, that's a nice tractor with Jim Stingles there. And Amy, we appreciate your driving that through for us. Thank you very much. And here's another different Gibson tractor. This is our lady in waiting this year at the Boulder County Fair. And tell them your name.
I'm Kelly Martinez.
Kelly Martinez. And do you get to drive a tractor very often, Kelly?
Actually, yes, I do. We have to work our arenas at home, so
What kind of tractors do you have at home?
we have a Ford tractor.
Ford tractor. And I expect you're quite familiar with riding horses too, aren't you?
Yep, since I was 2 years old.
2 years old. Well, by gosh, all right. You're beginning to learn all about them. Maybe you can teach some of us a few things about riding horses. Kelly, it's nice to have you driving the tractor through our parade. Thank you, and we'll hope to see you again next year. You're welcome. We're back from Indiana, and driven by Claire, my wife. We get it out about once a year here, bring it down to the Boulder County Fair, and we just use it for Claire to ride around and look pretty on. Okay, thanks, Claire. 1951.
There's on it, the lights and the hydraulics. Starter, even.
Well, come on up, Charlotte. Don't be bashful. This is, looks like a little PR John Deere, I believe. Belongs to Harvey Nelson and wife Charlotte driving it. And what year is this one made?
37.
1937, so it's 59 years old. So it's a good-looking tractor and a fun tractor to drive. Well, thanks for driving her through, and you notice she's got a clutch up there in her right hand. She eases it forward, see the tractor move forward. Well, we got a bouncing model coming up here. See him bounce? My gosh. Maybe we'll pave this through here next year. Make it smoother for you, Marilyn. This is... Well, here comes Carolyn Brown. Carolyn and Dave there, as I was mentioning before, helped put on our show here, and they did such a fine job of putting everything together and keeping us organized and make us behave all weekend long. And this is their F12 that they've restored just, I believe, last year. And the F12 is the smallest of the F-Series. And it is a beautiful job of restoration again. Single front on this one. Carolyn, thanks kindly for driving this through. If you ever go out to see Dave and Carolyn, I'd suggest you go over there about mealtime, because she sets a real mean table. I'll tell you, that is a gorgeous machine, isn't it? She and her husband, Earl, have restored this tractor. And tell the folks where you're from, Betty.
Grand Junction, Colorado.
This is one of these rare Gibson two-seater tractors. I don't know where Earl is. He must be back here someplace. Now, here's a working tractor coming up here. I thought we had some cookies today. Claire? I thought we had some cookies to give away. Okay, looks like the Vavra family coming up here. Vern and his daughters. And she's handling that great big old 1200 Massey Ferguson. And that looks like, tell them your name.
Chelsea Vavra.
Chelsea?